budget. Well, joining us now is a leading Republican deficit hawk, Congressman Jason Chaffetz of Utah. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. First off, I want to get your reaction to what Peter Orszag said, which is, look, now is not the time for austerity and massive spending cuts, not when an economy is sputtering along. You're on the opposite side of that.
Well, I came into office the same time that President Obama was sworn in 4 years ago, and I was concerned when I was running in that election that our debt was approaching $9 trillion. Now we're well over $16 trillion. The president said in his first term, in his first year, that he wanted to cut the deficit in half. Then it was $450-something billion. We've now had $1 trillion+ 4 years in a row. That's not the way you're going to solve your problems. We're up over 100% of GDP in terms of our debt. Certainly there's some spending cuts that are out there that are acceptable. But
spending cuts that could possibly delay or jeopardize a recovery here in the economy?
They've been making that argument, and if spending these trillions upon trillions of dollars was the way to spur our economy forward, certainly we'd see some numbers going in a different direction. Remember, the fiscal year starts October 1st. We're already about $300 billion in deficit this year already. We're in that $300 billion already. Certainly, we've got to show a responsible way. What our bill that we're bringing up says is that we want to put ourselves on a trajectory to reach a balanced budget within 10 years. That's certainly a reasonable, responsible way that I think the bonds markets will respond to.
Let me just address what you said, though. I mean, some would say, though, the argument would be that we are, in fact, seeing some of the benefits of government spending. You know, we are seeing the jobless rate fall. The housing numbers are coming back. We're going to get housing data later this morning. Car sales are back up. I mean, some say that this is working.
I would disagree. I mean, the jobless rate is essentially the same as when President Obama took office 4 years ago. Certainly there are benefits to spending this massive amount of money, but I think the bond markets have a reasonable concern. Are we eventually going to turn this spigot off? And what we're saying as Republicans is we're not going to do it day one, but over the course of 10 years, can we put ourselves on a budget to get to 10-year balance? I think that's a reasonable approach.
Earlier I mentioned that there's a bill that could possibly be voted on tomorrow, which would basically suspend this decision on a debt limit, for several months. And in fact, it would withhold pay for members of Congress unless they come together and vote on a budget and pass that. The Democrats are saying that this is basically a political gimmick by the Republicans. Why would this help the budget negotiations?
Well, we're supposed to produce a budget in the House and then have one produced in the Senate and then come together in a conference and work out our differences, achieve this cooperation. But the problem is the United States Senate, it's been more than 1,300 days since the Senate has passed a budget. We can't do our job up here on Capitol Hill if the Senate under Harry Reid refuses to ever do a budget. So we've done 2 budgets in a row under the House led by Republicans. We passed them. We anticipate we'll pass them again under Paul Ryan's leadership there as the chairman of the Budget Committee. But all we're asking them to do is the Senate is to do what is required by law, which is pass a budget by April 15th. Yeah. That's a reasonable way to do it, and show us that you're doing it, and then we'll raise the debt ceiling until that time.
All right. Well, we shall see. Congressman, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining me.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Jason Chaffetz from Utah.